Donald Trump and the White House were tweeting this out. It shows Trump holding a U.S. flag with Rubio and Vance in Greenland. And people are actually pushing back on it by making a meme. This shows polar bears basically dragging Trump and the gang off, and then a polar bear smiling, which is pretty funny. I'm starting with this today because we're talking about Greenland, as Trump recently announced a future concept of a plan or whatever. And we're getting some more details of this stuff, and also want to see what people are saying. We know what the polar bear is saying. You have this is just something that Trump often does. Trump, I make a stupid decision. Something really bad happens, right? Then Trump, I convince my followers the problem is now magically solved. Then I reverse my stupid decision. That's Trump. Listen to him describe the deal.
Well, we have a concept of a deal. I think it's going to be a very good deal for the United States, also for them.
It's not specific enough to know at this point how long this lasts, whether it's
forever.
Forever.
It'll be forever.
For Greenland at this point.
Yeah. Forever.
It's for forever, guys, and Greenland. So, true story, though. We did get a little bit of update. This is from the New York Times, someone on the inside. Their headline read, Trump's deal for Greenland is said to involve small pockets of land. And I think perhaps they're talking about putting some military base somewhere. So that's what we have. This isn't necessarily anything new. We already have a military base in Greenland. It's probably just like, hey, can we use that part of land? Sure.
All right, Fox News alert out of Davos, Switzerland. Breaking right now, new information from President Trump about Greenland. Posting moments ago on Truth Social, he said, based upon a very productive meeting that I have had with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte, we have formed the framework of a future deal with respect to Greenland and, in fact, the entire Arctic region.
We've had the framework of a future deal with Greenland. And I'm just showing you this because it's crazy that these people sell their souls on a daily basis and act like this stuff is, real and it's all nonsense. Trump was also attacking Canada while he's in Davos. Have a listen to this.
We're building a golden dome that's going to, just by its very nature, going to be defending Canada. Canada gets a lot of freebies from us, by the way. They should be grateful also, but they're not. I watched your prime minister yesterday. He wasn't so grateful. But they should be grateful to us. Canada lives because of the United States. Remember that, Mark, the next time you make your statements.
So Trump was not happy about Carney's speech. And I'll just say this, Carney's a real leader, and Trump, he literally is like gasping for air. You can hear it in the speech. I don't think he's well both mentally and physically. You can, you shouldn't be grateful. Right? I mean, you can actually hear it. And I also want people to know this around the world, because a lot of people watch this channel, that not every American is completely whacked out like Trump. This is from Governor Beshear. He was the governor of Kentucky, and he actually shares his point of view. He was in the room, I guess. Listen to this.
Just come from the president's speech. You were in the room. Your impressions of what he had to say.
The president's speech was dangerous, disrespectful, and unhinged. The president spent an hour plus disrespecting our allies, calling them names, even doing fake voices for them in private conversations. He called some of our allies dumb to their face, and specifically called out leaders who have been great friends to the United States of America. We are less safe when people believe that the United States isn't committed to the NATO alliance. We are less safe when we push Canada, one of our strongest partners, away from us and towards China. And then just the rambling and the random stories, calling Greenland, which he believes is so important, Iceland, numerous times, makes you wonder.
I imagine you've had some conversations with other world leaders that are here. What do they make of it all?
Not just here. I've gone through Helsinki to Stockholm to here, and the leaders in Europe are hurting. The United States has been the leader of the free world, and now we're acting like the bully on the playground, saying that just because we can do something means we should do something. That's not the United States that they know. That's not the United States they've looked up to, and that's not the United States the world needs. We need to get back to being who we are, and I hope that the people of Europe, that our close allies, know that America is more than just our president. And the American people believe that Canada are our friends, doesn't want Greenland as a territory, and understands that our alliances with Europe has created world stability for my entire lifetime.
And it's important to see that, because I always say, guys, like, you feel like you get stuck in the Trumpy land and is like everyone a Trumper. No, not necessarily. There's a lot of Americans know that Canada's our friend, and there's no reason to be hating on Canada or our friends in Europe. That's just not the way to do things. And also, it shows that the people who hang out with Trump, they're just a bunch of losers. That's about it. There's no other way to put it. The thing that was interesting also is, because people were wondering what Newsom was doing there. I guess there's multiple governors there. This was Kentucky. This is now California. And then Newsom was saying he had some sort of talk set up, and then the Trump people canceled on him in last minute, which is a bit strange. So that's what we're at right now. Like the way the Trump people act is they're even, canceling opportunity for America to build relationships around the world, which is frankly ridiculous. This is also what they're saying. Listen to our head trade rep talk about Canada.
The Prime Minister himself said it. They're a middle power. History doesn't swing on the hinge of Canada's geopolitical decisions. 75% of their GDP depends on the United States. So I'm not terribly concerned about it. They're always going to have a constructive relationship with us.
It's just really disrespectful. That's our head trade rep. Like, oh, well, Canada needs us. They can't leave us. That's basically what he's saying. And I've never liked Greer. I could easily tell from the get-go this guy's just a lackey and a moron. And that's what he says. I mean, that's how he talks about allies. That's why I show you a different contrast.
Mr. President, how did you do the deal? Come and tell us how you did the deal, sir.
Good deal, fair deal for everybody. I think it's a very good deal.
Can you give us more details about the deal?
No, it's a great deal for everybody.
Will there be an acquisition?
No, I think they're going to be very happy. It's a great deal for everybody.
How did you do the deal, sir? Could you explain it to us? Could you come and give us a word? The world wants to know how you did the deal, sir.
It'll be explained, but it's a really good deal for everybody.
This thing is so whacked out. The Trump people are also announcing today, I guess they got a bunch of people to sign up for AI. This is from them. It says achievement unlocked. This is the Department of Defense. Golden Age American flag. Okay. Gen AI has officially hit 1 million unique users in just over a month of deployment. Department of Defense will be AI first. 1 million unique users of Gen AI. And it's kind of weird that they're bragging that the military is now using AI. I mean, as if you have a choice if you're in the military, right? Like, it's kind of weird, isn't it? I mean, essentially what this ends up being is basically propping up Elon Musk's company or whatever, because if you're in the military and you're forced to have an account, like they say you have an account, you got to make one, and then you do it. It's the military. And basically for me, I just reads corruption. But
you were enjoying it today. I did look up Golden Dome on Urban Dictionary. It's disgusting. Why do people do that? Should I look it up? Yeah, look it up. I hate Davos. The whole point of going to Davos is to spend the next 12 months telling everybody that you were in Davos. And you'll work it into a sentence, even if no one asked you, hey, Greg, I hear Uncle Steve died. I know. My heart is as heavy as a snowfall in Davos. It's like, it basically is Coachella for the Cialis crowd, with like all these figureheads and parkas, craning their necks to see who's more famous than they are. It is disgusting. And this is why when Trump is there, it's magical. The orange skunk at the garden party shows up. He didn't go to Davos to be part of Davos. He went to Davos so it could be part of him. And that is what makes him so special. Love him or hate him. When he leaves that room, everybody there felt like America First threw up all over them. It's like talk about a golden dome. They got golden showered in America First. So it's like I try to explain to people who don't understand Trump. It's like being in a courtroom. You're in a courtroom and there's this absolutely vicious lawyer. And if he's yours, you love him. And if he's not yours, oh my God, you hate him.
So the way they try to make Trump look is like, oh, people just hate Trump because he's so awesome. It shows you like the whacked out world of Fox News. It's totally bizarre. I do want to show you a couple other things though, because it's always important to get different points of view on this stuff. This is Carney. Have a listen to what he has to say.
The natural logic of international relations reasserting itself. And faced with this logic, there is a strong tendency for countries to go along to get along, to accommodate, to avoid trouble, to hope that compliance will buy safety. Well, it won't. So what are our options? In 1978, the Czech dissident Václav Havel, later president, wrote an essay called The Power of the Powerless. And in it, he asked a simple question: how did the communist system sustain itself? And his answer began with a greengrocer. Every morning, this shopkeeper places a sign in his window: "Workers of the world unite." He doesn't believe it. No one does. But he places the sign anyway to avoid trouble, to signal compliance, to get along. And because every shopkeeper on every street does the same, the system persists. Not through violence alone, but through the participation of ordinary people in rituals they privately know to be false. Havel called this living within a lie. The system's power comes not from its truth, but from everyone's willingness to perform as if it were true. And its fragility comes from the same source. When even one person stops performing, when the greengrocer removes his sign, the illusion begins to crack. Friends, it is time for companies and countries to take their signs down. 4 decades.
And that is a really big contrast from what you see on Fox or the Trump people. And I mean, already the Trump people look stupid, right? But when you see Carney, it's just like, how can I move to Canada? Like everyone says the same thing. It's obvious. And also I was thinking about when, as Carney was speaking, when the Fox people, all go along with the lie that Trump's some brilliant person. And it's like, if you just look at the stuff for yourself and not necessarily believe everything on Fox News, you come to an obvious conclusion that Trump's a moron. It's obvious. And, Fox News talking about Golden Dome and stuff like that. And I always show you contrast, guys. It should be really obvious. There's two different, or I won't say two different, but just there are different groups in USA and not everyone's the same. That's the best way to say it, because I don't want to push there's only two sides. There's lots of different points of view. Scheinbaum had a really interesting thing to say about free markets. And I'll translate it for you guys here as she goes. Says the right wing's concept of, quote, freedom is very questionable because they talk about market freedom, which, by the way, Mexico has free trade. But market freedom with wages that don't even allow you to buy the basics, what kind of freedom is that? That's not freedom. And we defend freedom, all freedoms. Freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, freedom of communication. But we work for the well-being of the people. We believe and are convinced that the state has a very important role to play in defending the rights of the people. The right wing thinks there are no rights. That education is not a right, that healthcare is not a right, that access to housing is not a right, that a living wage is not a right. They think the market is going to solve everything. And Mexico already lived through many years of neoliberalism, which only led to more poverty and more inequality, and it didn't strengthen the rights of the people. On the contrary, it left young people abandoned. So they had neither jobs nor education. And she just lays it out really, really well, the problem with essentially the U.S. system where, and if you listen to any of the Letniks or Besant or Trumpers or any of those people, they always say, but guys, look at the stock market. The stock market's going up. You're all going to be rich. Yeah? Are we? and I always point that stuff out because the average person, right? No, they're not feeling that. The average person goes to the grocery store and they're like, oh my God, this thing is just like crazy expensive. The average person goes to their bills. Oh my God, can't afford anything. Average person looks to better train themselves. Like, I can't afford education. And the list goes on. Or they get sick and they can't afford to go to the hospital. And so these different points of view, to me, it's obvious. I think I'm more on board in Canada and Mexico than what Trump is saying. But understand also that there will be some pushback. There's a lot of people coming up through the ranks that are willing to stand up to Trump. And I'm looking forward to midterms myself. I know it can't come soon enough. And even today, there's more. There's always news report on people waking up and just realizing Trump's literally, as you saw, physically gasping for air. So that's my thoughts on this. I'd like to hear yours, and I'll catch you all in the next video.